Creations Wines, which is celebrated for its innovative winemaking, exceptional food pairings, and committed to sustainability, produces award-winning wines including Chardonnay and Pinot Noir and a variety of other wines. Their renowned tasting experience emphasizes locally sourced ingredients and breathtaking beauty. Recognized as the best vineyard in Africa and ranked among the top 10 in the world's best vineyards in 2024, Creation Wines continues to set global standards through innovation, eco-consciousness practices, and community upliftment. So today we have Nkulu from Creation Wine. What an absolute treat to have a specialist and a judge with us today. Nkulu, welcome.
Thank you, Tando. What a great pleasure to be with you today.
Awesome. So tell us about your journey in wine.
Oh, do you want the short version or the super long version?
You can give us the middle.
The middle, okay. So I was very fortunate to have my first wine trip when I was 19 years old during my post-matric year. And we went to Rustenburg. So one of the wine farms we went to was Rustenburg Wine Farm in Stellenbosch, which is quite I didn't know at the time, but it's a very prestigious, well-known, iconic wine farm in South Africa. And we had a tasting there, and of course, being 19 years old, you're not really interested in wine, but I'd say that was my really first tasting. And out of about 12 of us in my class, there were maybe 2 or 3 of us, including myself, that was really interested and paid attention to the wines. And if I can take it further back, so my father, when he used to drink wine, he used to get very animated. But when they drank beer and spirits, for example, with his friends, it was very different. But with wine, there was just something different. And I'm very observant, and I observed this as a youngster. So I started just tasting a little bit of their leftover wines secretly, and I just couldn't understand this bitter, dry, very unpleasant taste. But they'd literally hold the glasses like this, look what I've got, or look what someone gifted me, and so on. And then there was just that curiosity and an interest that was sparked further by the trip a few years later when I was 19. So when I went to UCT to study, and during orientation week, they've got all these wine clubs, all these clubs and societies that you can join. And there was a UCT Wine and Cultural Society. And I was like, I actually want to learn a little bit more about wine. And this was a year after the trip.
So Nkulu, before we taste the Pinot Noir, please may you tell us about Creation Wine.
So Creation Wine is a family-owned business, winery, that dates back to 2002. So the land where Creation was purchased in 2002, and then 2003 they started planting. So mainly planted to Chardonnay on the white varieties, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Semillon, and Viognier. And today we've got a little bit of Riesling, Marsanne, and Grenache Blanc. And then on the white side, Pinot Noir, Syrah, Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Petit Verdot, and Grenache. So it's family owned by a couple, JC or Jean-Claude Martin, Swiss national, and then Carolyn Martin. And they're both, what's really interesting is they both come from families that produced wine. Carolyn in South Africa. So Carolyn's father, Walter, established Blauklippen, Hartenberg, and Glencarlo as well. And then JC comes from Switzerland, in the Biel Valley, where they worked with and farmed and made Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. But he first came to South Africa in '96 to work a harvest, and he happened to work in the Camel and Arde Valley at Bushart in Leysen, just down the road from Creation, and at the time, which was owned by Carolyn's uncle, Peter Finlayson. He was the first winemaker in the area and quite a pioneer. So those are the early days, and they've gone on to build an amazing business, tasting room and so on.
So let's taste the wine.
Should we taste? Yes. I did mention, so I bought a older vintage of the Reserve Pinot Noir, so 2019, which was 2019 really held as one of the finest
2019 was a good year.
Vintages in recent years. And the first thing you notice when I'm pouring this Pinot, tell me what's the first thing you notice?
Light.
Light in color, of course. That's Pinot Noir is a grape variety, very thin skin, so it's very light, but very intense as a grape variety, and one of the finest red wine grape varieties or red wines in the world. And the best examples come from the Camel and Arde Valley. If you think of all our neighbors, they all produce fine examples. So at Creation, we produce 3 different Pinot Noirs: the Estate, which is a normal white label, the Reserve, and then the Art. This is the Reserve.
And I can see we
2019.
have a different glass.
Yes, we have a different glass. So still on Riedel, this is a Pinot Noir performance glass. Quite a big bowl, and you'll see it kind of closes in and opens up a little bit to the end.
Yes.
So it's quite delicate, but it's very spicy, not spicy, more aromatic and floral. And the whole idea is for all those delicate notes to be retained in this glass. And it actually takes quite a long time to get to hit your palate when you taste. So as that happens, a lot of oxygen comes in and just opens up the bouquet to accentuate. And you'll notice here, this is, Pinot Noir, I always say you get red fruits, red cherry, black cherry, beautiful spice, nutmeg, think of your baking spices, nutmeg, cinnamon, and also a little bit of an earthiness. So think of mushroom. You get a little bit of that mushroom note. The older the Pinot Noir is, the more of that note.
So we give it a swirl.
Yes, of course, the usual, give it a swirl.
This is really good.
But aromatic. Initially, those aromatics and the spice, very delicate spice, hits you, and then the fruit follows through, and quite fresh. I mean, this is 6 years old and still showing beautifully. So it's still quite primary. So it's still showing young. It's not showing its age.
Yeah.
And I think Pinot Noir. A lot of people think Pinot Noir, light, delicate, it won't age well. And from a style, it's not those wines, a wine that you fall in love with initially. Yeah, it needs a little bit of tasting experience. Because I used to judge it. I used to look at the color and be like, I can't take this wine seriously.
It's a deep red.
This wine is light. Mine's like almost a purple, full-bodied style of wine. But this is light and very intense, and you pick up the intensity on the palate. Almost a little bit of a kick, but a gentle kick.
Yeah.
I'd like to say, and this is just.
And it's a very hot day. It's not.
Yeah.
You're not sweating.
You're not sweating at all. It's one of those red wines you can have at lunch, and you'll notice temperature of this wine, even if you feel in the bottle, but it's really showing well. And I always recommend chilling your Pinot Noir. If you're having it at lunchtime, if you're outdoors, keep it in the ice bucket and chill it. It will really show well. It will show it better. You can never have Pinot Noir room temperature. So if a wine is served at the incorrect temperature, it will uplift all the non-desirable characters or parts of the wine, acidity, bitterness, and alcohol. Whereas if it's more chilled, then it's fine. If it's too chilled, then you can always just do this, warm it down. If it's at 8 degrees, you can take it all the way up to 10, 12, 14. But if it's too warm, it can never get better. So when people say, serve the wine at room temperature, one of the most annoying things for me when it comes to wine. People say that red wine should not be served at room temperature. Not just Pinot Noir, but all red wines. So put your wines in the fridge.
Put your wines in the
relax.
fridge. Relax.
And yeah, it really makes a difference.
Ice.
Ice. Oh, ice and wine, yes.
Ice.
Oh, I didn't know the question was coming, but when it comes to, it's a big no-no for me. I truly believe if you know you're gonna have wine, just plan better and be better prepared. So put your wine in the fridge, chill it, or otherwise have some patience. Put it in the fridge, put it in the ice bucket until it's ready. But don't add ice. Have water, have something refreshing like a gin and tonic or whatever you like to drink before, a beer, a cider, before you have your wine. I feel adding ice just waters it down. You might as well put sparkling water, ice cold water in your wine. Cold ice cold water to get it to chill. So some of my closest friends and some of my family members do that. I judge them with adding ice. Like, just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it, please.
So where can we find
So unfortunately, 2019 is sold out, but the current vintage of the Reserve Pinot Noir is available, and also the Reserve specialist wine shops. We're not available everywhere, but places, specialist wine shops like Norman Goodfellow, Dry Dock Liquors, Wine Menu, you'll definitely find our wines. Boulevard Cellars, you'll find these wines. And of course, some people will have the 2019. So anyone who has a 2019 is still drinking well.
Drinking well, 2019. Let's speak about the accolades.
So Creation, very fortunate. They've done very well, very focused, and they've won a number of accolades. Recently, best vineyard in the world. They were in the top 10. They came third last year, and they came behind a Spanish or Rioja producer and an Argentinian farm. They've really done well. And the previous year, so they've been in the top 10 now for the last 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. And also they've won numerous awards for their cellar door experience, attracting people, just the whole experience from when they come in, cellar, the offering, and we do offer amazing food and wine pairings which change seasonally, and all taken very seriously, and we hope all well received going forward. So those are some of the awards that we've won, and also some international ones with Decanter. Top 10 wine of the world was one of our Chardonnays. Our Chardonnay 2020 was highly rated, which was really a big accolade. Some top wine judges, wine journalists have really rated some of our wines highly.
All right, so we are now moving on to the Corks and Chats quiz. Creations wine quiz. Are you ready?
I thought it was going to be general, but
Okay. Where is Creation Wines located?
in the Himalayan Valley.
Pairing perfection. Which of these are recommended for pairing your famous Pinot Noir? Sushi, lamb, chocolate, and cheese.
Please repeat those. Sushi, lamb,
chocolate, cheese. Pinot Noir.
Sushi.
Lamb.
No. But lamb, depends how it's cooked. Yeah. Okay.
White wine wonders. Which grape variety is the signature of their award-winning Creation Sauvignon Blanc? Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, Chenin Blanc.
Signature what grape? Is that the question?
Which grape variety is the signature of their award-winning Creation Sauvignon Blanc?
Question's a bit confusing.
Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, Chenin Blanc.
Chardonnay.
Chardonnay.
No, but you're asking the.
Of your creation, Sauvignon Blanc.
But Sauvignon,
It was a trick question.
but Sauvignon Blanc is a grape. Yeah, Sauvignon Blanc. Okay, it's a trick question. I fell for the trick. That's why I'm like, hey, what question is that? It's a trick question. The award-winning Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc. You got me there.
Okay. What sustainable practice is Creation Wines known for? Organic farming, recycling bottles, carbon neutral production, bee conservation.
Isn't bees that fly around? Bee conservation. Yeah.
So A, organic farming, B, recycling bottles, C, carbon neutral production, D, bee conservation.
B.
And C, neutral.
C is carbon neutral.
Mm-hmm.
I should know this. Carbon neutral, yes.
Okay, number 5, wine and creativity. Which unique experience is Creation Wines famous for? A, wine and chocolate pairing. B, virtual wine tours. C, wine and art collaboration. Or D, food and wine pairing menus.
Food and wine pairing menus.
Yes. Absolutely. Number 6, wine accolades. In which year did Creation Wines first receive a top 50 best vineyard recognition? A, 2018, B, 2019, C, 2020, D, 2021.
Oh. Top 50.
Top 50 best vineyard recognition. First received in which year?
Said 18, 19, 20 or 21?
Mm-hmm.
When I say 21, top
1
18, 19. Would have been 20 or 19. Oh, I don't know.
Which one?
2019.
Number 1.
Thank you. I should know. Oh, trick question. Right?
Okay, and then blend challenge. Which of the following wines from Creation is a red blend? Whale Pod Syrah, Sauvignon Reserve Merlot, or Syrah Renault.
Which of those are blends?
Mm-hmm. Is a red blend. Whale Pod Syrah.
So Well Pod is actually a Syrah Merlot blend, but Syrah Grenache is a blend that's very well known for. Which is D. Yes.
You know your things. What is the perfect season to enjoy a glass of Chardonnay?
What is perfect season? Every day. A glass of Chardonnay in your glass.
And in closing, Nkulu, what advice would you give to our viewers who are new to wine, who are trying to get to know wine, who are shy, who don't know what to drink, what to taste? Because I feel like people are going for the really expensive stuff, but because they don't know there's a middle and there's, so what advice?
I think the first advice, when it comes to wine, keep an open mind, very important. You have to explore. I mean, there are so many different wines, so you really have to immerse yourself in wines. So explore, taste, and try different wines. And don't go for the usual wines that people go on about every day on social media. We've got a few thousand wines available across the range and in different price brackets. So really go for something different and unique, and you always have to keep an open mind to wine and ask questions. There are no stupid questions.
Absolutely. So Nkulu, thank you so much for coming today and showcasing your wines. It has been a great experience. Where can we find you on the socials?
On the socials, my personal page is at Nkulu81, and then Creation Wines as well. Very active on social media at Creation Wines. All different platforms. And then finally at Riedel Official, and Riedel glasses are available in South Africa. And thank you so much for having me. It's been fun and really enjoyed it.